Hello, members, and welcome to another Culture Curator Challenge and a little deeper dive into the training this month. If you are listening to the podcast deliberately and consistently, you know that episode 224, I talked about pimping. I talked about the personal increase momentum plan and being able to put that together, not only for yourself, but when you have every single member of your team putting together their PIMP and leaning into their PIMP, then you create the team's improvement, the team's increase momentum plan. So I hope that you're doing that. So I want to give you more specifics. On the episode, I really rambled through 10 to 12 different types of things that you should do in order to create your PIMP. But remember, all of you are sitting at a particular momentum right now. The question becomes, where do you want to continue to increase? Where do you want to continue to level up your own personal momentum and then carry that over into your team and find those different points and those different synergies that overlap in order to create an even more intentional, highly effective team. So I lean into all of our conversations around the behavioral, the cognitive, the emotional sides that lean into and inform that social setting, the workplace culture. And so we have to start with ourselves. It's a self-awareness, and we have to want to be self-aware in order to move forward. It's easier said than done. It takes a lot of vulnerability. It takes being open. It takes being focused on people who will give you real feedback, real moving forward type of feedback, a plan, a thought, some options to kind of shake your head apart in a different way in order to move forward. So some of the things that I've written, you guys know them all, to write it down. So some of the things to create this that I want you to think through. And of course, this is one of the many reasons why you reach out to me. A part of your membership is you get one-on-one time. You just have to schedule it. So I invite you to do so if you've not done that. So creating a picture of success. A long time ago, and I wish I could give credit to who it was because I don't remember who it was, but what does your perfect day look like? Who are you talking to? What are you doing? What are you wearing? How much time are you spending preparing, interacting? Are you out and about? Are you traveling? Are you in an office? What are you doing? So understanding and creating the picture of success for you, and what that looks like for you. And if you're like me, some of those things have changed because of the dynamics of 2020. It made me kind of stop, reevaluate, readjust, think through those things far more deliberately. Even myself, yes, I take my own medicine. So that's the first thing, is really, really create the picture of success. Now you can do this through vision boards, all kinds of different things, but just, start to make a list, a journal on what the perfect day looks like, which leads into what makes you feel like you're being successful. And because of the intertwine, personal and work, because what we are living personally absolutely shows up in the workplace culture and either adds value or detracts from it and puts us off into a spin that we don't want to do. The second thing is, with that, is understanding, and it will uncover and discover what it is that you love to do. What are those components? Now, I would love to say that you should be able to do everything you love to do and only that every single day, but understand there's a few salt and pepper sprinkles that go in there of other things that we do that maybe we don't like as much, but it should be a much smaller portion of your actual day-to-day routine. The next thing is, what are those goals? What are the real intentions that you're trying to accomplish? Daily habit-focused routine pieces, as well as those bigger picture quarterly, those big, hairy, audacious goals that you're trying to achieve. And of course, I'm talking about inside of your workplace culture, but yes, you absolutely can use this from a personal standpoint as well. The next thing is, this is a big one. This is a big one. Eliminate those things that are draining the living life out of you. whether it's function, whether it's interaction with people. I'm not saying take people out, but I am saying refocus that energy and figure out why it's draining. And if you can remove and adjust that, then by all means do that. Get to the root cause of why it's draining you in order to begin to shift. Rewrite the script. That was one of the podcasts. Rewrite and flip the script. If somebody is draining you, understand why they're draining you. Rewrite it. See where your role is in the part of that in order to rewrite it and to go into another phase and change the direction and the velocity of that, therefore your own momentum. Bust through your fears. Write down the things that you're literally scared of, those things that are barriers, barricades that you don't want to address, that you're not comfortable addressing inside of your workplace culture with the right appropriate people, but come with problem solution. Problem, maybe a few different solutions for people to wrap their heads around and kind of grab onto. You've got to be brave. You've got to get through the fear. You've got to be courageous. You know, the things that create fear are the very things that can actually push you forward and challenge you as well. I love using cost benefit approach. You guys have heard me say that, especially if I'm working with you directly. Cost benefit means, you know, let's talk about a fear thing. Maybe it's a fear of making a phone call. Maybe it's a fear of having a conversation with your boss. Maybe it is a fear of letting somebody go, knowing that the position's going to be open a while. Maybe it's a fear of changing your job. Maybe it is a fear of implementing a new change. Maybe it is a fear of just speaking up in a meeting. The list goes on. I want you to deliberately think through those fears that you think are really pulling you back. What's it costing you? What is it absolutely costing you by not moving forward and taking that action, shifting? And then what is the benefit if you actually do make those shifts? It's always revealing if you're like, yep, nope, not going to do it. Or if you're like, you know what, gulp, I am going to do it. So cost benefit approach. Know your circle. Know your circle. Brene Brown says Foursquare. Really, it's who are in the corners for you, who are in your corners. Make sure that the people that you have in your life that are deliberate, that are matched with and add value, and you add value to them too. So it's give and take. But that you trust them, they're transparent with you, you can go to them, they can embrace you, and then they can let you go and shake you up and say, listen, now get on with yourself. You need to make sure you know who those people are. Track your time. It is crazy how we say we don't have time for things, but when it becomes a priority, shazam, we have time for it. So look at your daily habits, track how you're spending your time. Initially, if you've never done this before, do it on an hour basis and then 30-minute blocks. And then if you really need to get down into it, 15-minute blocks. But look at your start and stopping and your tracking, and then put it into categories of how you're spending your time. You know, from a workplace, it's management, administration, maybe marketing, selling, meetings. Put it into chunks of time to see how you're spending your time, and then go back to, is that how you want to spend your time in order to create more momentum inside of that? Think through your possibilities. If I were to not do this or to delegate that and hold this person accountable, what might I get to do on the other side that adds a deeper value to my soul and adds a deeper value to the workplace culture and to the team? And make sure that you're not just being compliant on the daily, but you're committing. You're committing to those things that give you greater feelings of success. You're committing to those outcomes. And so now I'm going to go back to, it is a PIMP because it is a personal, increased intention of momentum plan for you. Don't let things happen by accident for yourself and inside of your team and inside of your workplace culture. Be intentional about these things. I love and I'm obsessed with what it is that I get to do on every single day. I find deep joy having conversations with you guys and helping you look at the possibilities and create another way to fix a crack, to fix a leak, or to break that sucker wide open and to go at it like you've never gone at it before. You should not have to live every day of your work life in fear and angst and stress and anxiety. I'm telling you, you don't have to do that. I've been there. I have been there. I've been there in two different companies. And I look back and I learned so much, and I would have done some things so differently had I known and had I had somebody pushing me and helping me see in a different way. And I hope that's what I'm bringing to you. The possibilities are there. Are you willing to accept them? And are you willing to adjust? And are you willing to understand you do not need to be miserable in your job? You do not have to tolerate the turnover. You do not have to tolerate the lack of communication. Be a part of the solution inside of the team you're in, or find another team. I know that might sound easy, hard, brutal, I don't know, scary. I did it, you can do it. I am no better or no different than anybody else. I'm as simple can get, but you can do it. You can do it. So that's it. I know this was a little longer today. I hope it didn't come across as preachy, but inspirational, and actually gave you some things to kind of go back and do to create your own PIMPs. So again, just looking at some of my notes, you got to get outside of your head, you guys. You've got to get outside of all those excuses of why you can't get at making culture playbook pages, why you can't get at and to create the environment that really pumps you up on the daily. You can control and arrange your life and your workplace culture, and you can absolutely get the return and the desire that you deserve. That's it. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the year. If you are consuming this in a time other than December 2020, well, I love that too, because I know this is an evergreen message. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you next month or on your one-on-ones.